Hi, good morning, and today is the 31st of October 2021, and every week we like to do a sort of look back at the news from Zimmer and Peacock for this week. And so sort of looking back at this week, we'll just kind of go through some of the things that we've put there out into the news. So welcome. So we do this vlog and podcast at 8 a.m. London time every week. We appreciate it's quite early, so we don't expect lots of people to come along, but we do put it out on YouTube and through podcast channels later on. I just want to say a special good morning to Saran. Saran is online with us at the moment. He might even be in India, so he gets the benefit of it being a bit later there, but welcome Saran, so nice to see you this morning. So one of the pieces of news was really just a little sort of video that we put out there this week. We have some very skilled electrochemists in our Coventry lab. Morning Ivan, nice to see you. We have some very skilled electrochemists in our Coventry lab, and so just to kind of really just show some of the quality of the work that they do, and we put a little video out there, and what the video is actually demonstrating is that they're doing a Prussian blue deposition, and you can very clearly, if you're watching the video, you kind of go from blue to almost like a transparent, and then back to blue, and then a transparent as they cycle the voltage, and we go from sort of essentially one extreme to the other. Morning Aftab, as we go from one voltage to another, it's essentially changing the oxidation state, and the Prussian blue is changing color accordingly. And I think this is an important point, because at Zimmer and Peacock, we sell this gold value screen printed electrodes. And I know I say it, and Aftab and Saran know I say this a lot, but the biggest consumers of Zimmer and Peacock screen printed electrodes is Zimmer and Peacock. And that's why we keep the quality high, because obviously we're the ones who are benefiting from it. So just a little video this week, which is quite nice, because it's, dare I call it, a sort of almost like an electrochromic effect, where we're changing color due to the electrochemistry that we're doing. But in that particular example, it was Prussian blue. So just a fun little video that we did put out there this week from Zimmer and Peacock. Something else that we put up there this week as well was I had a very good image also sent to me from our Coventry lab. So as I say, the sort of newest lab to the ZP business is actually a new lab in Coventry. It's a double laboratory. Currently in the UK we've got about 22 people, and one of the principal scientists there sent me this image. It's a very, I want to say, messy image, but what you're looking at is a sort of microscope, and we're looking down at a stage, and we've got all these tubes and electrodes coming in, and it's essentially what he's doing is he's actually doing the quality control on some outgoing microelectrodes. But I think it's sometimes when we ask, God, why is this stuff so expensive? When we talk about screen printed electrodes, or we talk about microelectrodes, it's sometimes the quality system that's actually the most expensive part. Here, we've made some sensors. They're going to go off to the US, but actually before they go, they're actually being, quite thoroughly tested to ensure, of course, that they work. So often when you actually look at the price of any sort of scientific equipment, one of the reasons that scientific equipment and instruments can be quite expensive is because they're fundamentally low volume. There's not a lot of them made. So with these microelectrodes, we're definitely not fabricating them in the millions. So that's the first sort of driver on cost. The next driver on cost then is really, well, it potentially is the materials, but I often find it's actually the labor that's actually the biggest driver on cost. So I think labor is the next driver on cost. Logistics is really important. It's actually not that low cost as people think to ship things around the world. In scientific terms, people often want things, on 2 or 3 day or even 1 day shipping, and that's quite expensive. But really, one of the things that really makes these devices expensive is the quality and the quality check and the quality systems. Now, when you do high volume, what you end up doing is, in high volume, you take your expensive costs like the quality system and the labor, and you spread it over tens of thousands of pieces. And that's why when you do essentially low volume manufacturing, things seem expensive, because you're not sharing the cost over lots of thousands of pieces. You're sharing the cost over maybe less than 100 pieces, and that's why the costs sometimes seem so high. But just to sort of summarize this little section, so we just got a picture in from one of our scientists showing the efforts that he'd gone through to obviously do quality control on these microelectrodes, and we appreciate his efforts, and it just illustrated to me the kind of how much effort had gone up there. So when we look at these kind of prices, we think, wow, that's expensive. Of course, when you realize that somebody might spend half a day fabricating and testing, then you kind of start realizing, no, this is not as expensive as one would think. So I'll just go to some other news from Zimmer Peacock. As I say, we do this webinar every Sunday. I think I might even said Thursday earlier on. Every Sunday at 8 a.m. We're not expecting lots of people to turn up, but it's nice that you guys have, so thank you very much. We did go to NTNU a couple of weeks ago, so I just put a sort of slightly grayish, grainy picture up there, but this is Evan presenting in one of the big auditoriums at NTNU, so it was nice that they allowed us to do a lecture about ZP, so thank you to NTNU for that. Whoopsie-daisy. We're also, this year, we've got a large cohort from Swansea University. We've probably had 6 or 7 students this year from Swansea University, and we're looking to we're looking to hire a similar number again this year. So we did a special seminar for Swansea University this year, and we have a special sort of sign-up page for people who are coming from Swansea University who want to do a year or summer placement with Zimmer and Peacock. And by the way, we're quite open to having internships from around the world. Most of the internships we do are 3-month and 12-month placements, and we find this a really good way of recruiting people, because essentially they're on a sort of an extended job interview, and that really works out well for us. We did do our ZP Developer Zone on Thursday. So every Thursday at 8 a.m. London time, we do a webinar specifically for our ZP Developer Zone members. And we had a nice question coming in this week, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Just to say, I mean, this is also interesting to people like Saran who are, who are at ZP. We have our Senses in Medicine. We have a conference called Senses in Medicine, and it's online. I'll link to it off the website, but just to let you know that ZP is talking at a panel discussion at Senses in Medicine. So I think this is a paid-for conference. So, I'm not suggesting everyone signs up, but just to say that Zimmer Peacock will be talking at a Senses in Medicine conference on about the 10th of November. Just FYI for everyone. Now this is, I think, this will be for me. This is super interesting. So it's been a long time coming, but we're attending and exhibiting at a conference called Medica. So if you don't know Medica is probably the world's largest medical exhibition. I wouldn't say conference, it's more like a trade show, but it's a big trade show sort of focused around biosensing, and Zimmer Peacock will be there. We're actually displaying on the wearable technologies, wearable devices stand, which makes a lot of sense because continuous glucose monitoring, continuous lactate monitoring, these are the big things, some of the big things that Zimmer Peacock does. So we'll be exhibiting at Medica. It's a long show. We'll be there from approximately 15th to the 18th. I think it's fair to say that there'll be, on a good year, there's generally 150,000 people actually attend. So you've got 150,000 people sort of trying to pile into this, this large site. It's several acre site, but it's a lot of people. It feels like a lot of people there. Now this year, obviously we're in COVID-19 still, so I really expect the tendency to have fallen off, but we'll be there. If you happen to be able to make it to Dusseldorf from the 15th to 18th, you'll find us in Hall 12, booth D21. So just FYI. And then lastly, I actually realised there's one piece of news that we've left off, that we did a webinar with Shiraz University, organised by our ZP Developer Zone member Ali this week. It was really well attended. We had a really good attendance. If you the video's up on YouTube, and there's like sort of, at this point there's like 100 watchers, but they were mostly in the conference. But let me just get back to the point now. We're doing a webinar this Tuesday. That's the 2nd of November 2021. We're doing it 2:30 p.m. India time. We're doing it in conjunction with IIT Bombay, and we're doing it in conjunction with Professor Rohit Srivastava, and that is organised by one of our ZP Developer Zone members called Aftab. So this is organised for the benefits of IIT Bombay, and of course ZP is glad to be there as well. It's a webinar on agricultural biosensors, so that I think this is particularly interesting. Agriculture, I feel like this is one of the big sort of uncharted markets or applications for biosensing, so I'm particularly interested in it. I'm particularly interested in the collaboration possibilities with ZP and with IIT Bombay, so that should be an interesting conference. So we've got a registration button on the website for that. So I know that I've essentially been through all the news for this week. So some of the news from this week is we are going to be at Medica pretty soon. It'll be a massive conference. We'll do some videos from Medica. It's just to give you a sense of the scale. We did do a webinar this week with organised by one of our ZP Developer Zone members, Ali at Shiraz University, and thanks to Aftab, we'll be doing one at IIT Bombay this week. So I think it's a good reflection that ZP does like collaborations, especially with our ZP Developer Zone members. So thanks guys. So let me just say thank you very much to everyone for coming along this week. Don't forget the ZP Developer Zone webinar is on Thursday at 8 a.m. But as you know, every Sunday at 8 a.m. UK time, we like to do this vlog and podcast. So I will sort of sign off, but say thank you, special thank you to Saran and Ivan and Aftab for coming this week. And gentlemen, I shall see some of you in work, and I shall see some of you next Thursday at 8 a.m. London time for the ZP Developer Zone webinar. Okay, thanks very much and take care. Bye bye.